Hello, Gnomes. This is Mrs. Orendorf. Today, I'm going to teach you how to draw a Nordic gnome inspired by the gnomes from Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Norway, and sometimes even Germany. This is my girly gnome. It's in the process of being made, and this is my artist gnome. Now, there are many different types of gnomes. I've seen gnomes that look like ice cream cones. There's different kind of gnomes that look like this. For this project, you are going to need white paper, Sharpie, and crayons. For the background, we are going to use watercolor. This is a great book that I found online. It's called Go Big or Go Gnome. It's an awesome storybook. If you have a chance, look it up. YouTube has it. Here are some idea sheets of different types of gnomes that I have found on the internet. These are made with fabric. Some of them are vector ideas. Here's an artist gnome, ice cream gnome, lady gnomes, like Valentine's theme, I believe. Very cute. Here are more ideas. Okay, let's get started. Grab your paper. Here is a artist gnome, and here is a girly gnome. To begin, I like to use my hands as a guide of where my gnome is going to be. I'm going to make a curvy line right above my hand, about so. If it helps you, you can trace the lid of a container and only trace the top part of it. Okay, next, we are going to make our gnome's hat. There are many different kinds of hats, so you are going to have to pick what hat your gnome has. I have here different kinds of hats you can put on your gnome. Most of the classic gnome hats are the elf-looking hat, a little Santa hat, or a tall, pointy hat. You decide how tall yours is going to be. I'm going to start coming up one side, then the other, and then I'm going to slowly curve my hat. And if you'd like, you can put a pom-pom or a jingle bell. All a jingle bell is a circle with 3 little curves on it for the opening, and then just a little line. Okay, next, we are going to make the gnome's nose. The nose is like an oval hiding slightly under the hat. If you are making a male gnome, slightly, very lightly draw where the beard is going to go. I would do just a slight curvy line here, a curvy line for the body, and 2 ovals for the feet. Okay, now we are ready to trace with Sharpie and add details. With your Sharpie, you are going to trace everything that you drew. Let's add texture to your gnome's beard. If you want, you can add a little smile or no smile. You can do just a few lines for visual texture to make it look fluffy or a little more hairy. All right, trace the belly. You can trace the feet and just put a little line there to add some little bit of shine. Now your job is going to be to figure out what patterns to put on your gnome or a theme. So I think for this one, I may just do the lines like a candy cane. That would be fun. And think about the background. Where is your gnome? In my example, I added a horizon line like sitting snow on the ground. And then I'm going to do some crayon resist for the snowflakes. The next step is to erase, clean up your drawing, get rid of all those pencil marks you don't need anymore. Here is the girl gnome. Let's begin by placing our hand where the girl's body is going to be and slightly make a curvy line right above it. This is going to be the top of her hat. Next, we are going to draw the nose. Remember, it's an oval slightly hiding under the hat. All right, for her hat, this time I'm going to just go tall with a curvy line on each side. And I'm going to make a curve underneath for the body. In this case, it reminds me a lot of like a little green pea person with a hat. It's kind of cute. Okay, next, I'm going to draw the hair. Now, I saw different versions of hair because we're all different people. There's all different gnomes. There are some with braids. Don't forget the little rubber band right there, and then just a few little hair strands sticking out like a zigzag line. I saw some girly gnomes with bushy hair. I saw some with pigtails. I saw some with long flowing hair. You decide what kind of hair your girly gnome could have. It could be the kind of hair that you wear in real life, if it's a version of you as a gnome, or have fun with it, get creative, and come up with your own design. I saw some examples where they're wearing a scarf around their neck. You just make a curvy line here, a curvy line here, and then part of the scarf kind of coming down just a little bit. Don't forget the tassels. Okay, don't forget the shoes, 2 ovals. Try to measure about the same distance. I like to use my pencil, very good. And just a little line for the shine reflection right there. And get creative. What patterns could she have on her scarf? If you wanted like a peppermint candy cane pattern, you can just do lines. What other patterns could she have on her dress? Maybe polka dots. I've seen hearts. I've seen some with the apron with different patterns on them. I like to do a heart just on her hat. I think that would be pretty. Maybe other little details in a minute. Okay, so after you are done, trace everything you drew. And again, guys, you can put a little fluffy part on the hat there. You can put a little line for the rim of the hat. You can do all sorts of things. Trace your gnome, and let's get ready to color. For the bottom, I did a wavy line for the sitting snow to create a ground for my gnome. So he's not just floating in an empty sheet of paper with snowflakes. He's actually in a winter scene, just like this one. All right. Snowflakes. These are the most simple snowflakes that I have found with different illustration ideas. You start basically with an X with a line down the middle. Sometimes they have a plus sign and then an X overlapping it. This one is a circle with an X of lines going behind it and one down the middle. And all it is, guys, is just little lines or shapes. This one looks a little more complicated. It is a circle with a plus sign and an X behind it. and little circles on the ends. All right, just break it down with lines and shapes. Okay, for my snowflakes in the background, I used white crayon for the little dots. This is a crayon resist. When you put crayon on the paper and you put watercolor on top, the watercolor does not affect the wax on the crayon. Okay, so I did little circles and a few little stars on there as snowflakes, and then the more intricate detailed snowflakes I made colorful just so that I could see where I was drawing them. So let's get started. I'm going to do just a few dots like I showed you, random here and there, spread them out, then a few little X's, the little asterisk, which is an X, and then a plus sign in the middle. Okay, just little ones so that you have a variety. Now, yes, you cannot see the white crayon, but trust me, when you paint on top of it, you will. Okay, now with colorful crayons, you can have like rainbow colors for your snowflakes. I'm going to make one of these little beauties. Let's do that one. I started with a circle in the middle, a plus sign behind it, and then an X. On the little edges, you just make, this looks like the letter V, another letter V, and voila. Okay, you can get different colors and keep making your snowflakes. Now on the ground, I'm just going to use a little bit of light blue crayon and just add a little color here to make it look like snow, like reflection on the icy snow. The final step is to add the watercolor. Here I have my regular watercolor kit, my water, and a brush. Load your brush, rub it over the blue watercolor, and start painting your winter sky. If you do not have watercolors at home, a good alternative, which is a second choice, is to use marker and create a marker wash. And I will show you what that looks like on my other gnome. You are going to create swirls. Okay, so with my markers, I created some swirls just to add a little more fun. Now, this is an alternative, friends. This is what I would do, but if you don't have watercolor, I'm giving you an alternative. It's also a really cool effect if you choose this. All right, and with the water, just clean water, go over it. I have discovered that painting over marker works the best if you go in a circular motion. It fills in the areas a little bit better. You can also use just a little bit of this water on the ground to create some shadowing, the blue shadowing to make the snow look icy. Gorgeous. All right, enjoy it, have fun, and happy holidays, friends.